Not shooting with the gimbal tonight. I actually didn't expect to shoot any content. However, I thought this might be interesting for some people to see. I came over after my work day and left everything. I'm gonna step outside here. I know it's when washing a Camaro ZL1 in one of the bays. Step outside and for a second here. So very busy. I came over here Tuesday. It's gonna be a very busy weekend. Actually, walk in the bay here. Very busy week/weekend. I am in the process right now of replacing the coin acceptors on all the vacuums. I got fed up with I was having a lot of coin jam issues, things like that. And I have cleaned them, I've done everything, and they're $55 a piece. So it was like, I'm at the point now, we're busy enough, I don't need to be screwing with small things like that, just replace them, keep them going. One's running right now where I was just testing it. So I'll show what that looks like here. Again, it's probably gonna be a very short video. Fortunately, these are a standard part from a company called Imanex. And it's actually really not hard to swap them out. I'm kind of kicking myself for not having done this earlier. Replaced switches, cleaned everything else. But I will go into the pump room and show what's going on with that. All right. Looks like he is using tire cleaner. Oh, bonus content. So some issues that have happened. Right now, that is actually mixing more wheel and tire cleaner. That's what it looks like when a hydrominder goes off. I have an air gap in this hose. So what that means is the foot valve in the tank for pre-soak is failing and leaking out. Foot valve is a little check valve that keeps fluid from flowing back. Why it's pertinent to show you is when that happens, what will happen is you will have product go down the drain, like all of my desalt, $90 bucket of desalt. That's okay, end of the season. So what happens basically is the foot valve sticks open and it causes a siphon to occur, and I do not have hydrominders with siphon breakers on them. So that causes water to backfeed down the tube into the bucket, down the drain. So when I was just showing you a minute ago the wheel and tire mixing, you can probably see that it was spraying out a little bit. So when it sprays out above, there was like a little mist, and we've got a failing foot valve and wheel and tire. But the hole that I put in right here is actually what prevents the fluid from running back down, because by just putting a simple hole above the fluid level in this tube, it'll break that when you've got air. It'll basically do an air brake and keep it from flowing back out. Early on, I had a foot valve fail in wheel and tire, and I dumped a 35-gallon drum of it, plus God knows how much water, down the drain, all over the floor, and it still flows out of this crack. Whenever it gets wet in here, the floor turns neon green right here because of it. So, back to the topic at hand. This is from Vacuum 2, one of the doors. So, I've got wheel and tire, or actually, excuse me, pre-soak machine. So, old coin acceptor. Pain in the butt. So, when the reject circuit kicks out, you'll see that it sticks. That's in spite of being cleaned, which is why I removed the reject pin. The new ones are very smooth. This is a new one right here. Really, really easy. I undo these 4 5/16 bolts, or excuse me, nuts. This sits back in here in the place of this one, pokes through. I go and I reconnect it. Bob's your uncle. All right, so got the new one here. Took maybe 5 minutes to swap, and that's including wire brushing the old studs and getting rid of the rust that was on them. I thought I was gonna break some nuts. I had to put some WD-40 on them, but got that all straightened out. All right. Back of this mess. So we're at Vacuum 3. My sign blew off in the wind. It's these cute little signs that I made that say, I have a gopher nozzle. Prefer a claw nozzle? See my friend. That one had a claw nozzle because I run 2 different kinds depending on what's going on here, depending on what one you want. All right, so what we have is a timer in here, an IDX flat pack. This vacuum With the replacement of this, everything in this vacuum is brand new except for the shell. I have put a new time, well, brand new or new. I put a new timer, I've redone the wiring. The big black wire, this is the feed coming from the pump room. All the wiring up to the motors, up underneath the dome, covered in dirt. Money goes down that hole when you drop it in. Goes down into the tube, which goes down. You'll no doubt recognize this one if you've seen my videos, which is a little different because this is the one that plugs up. And I believe the son of a bitch is plugged up right now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect the wires, connect this up, and see if it works. All right, for the moment of truth, $1.25 to start. We should hear, yep, they're aimed right. They're going down the tube. There's 50, 75 $1, and we should hear it kick on now. All right, suction's good. Started with 5/4. Now we are going to move on to pulling apart vacuum 4 and doing the same thing over on this one.